Hello everybody, welcome back. I am Type 40 Artist and I'm going to be continuing on with this type challenge that I have set myself. So we've got Blastoise here today, just doing the rough sketch of Blastoise himself to use as a reference for the others. So I'm going to be keeping his water typing but giving him a secondary type. So it'll be interesting to find out what we've got in store here. Now, obviously, I already know what we do have in store because I've already done the drawings. This is just a time lapse of the drawings, but you guys already knew that. So I'm going to be honest, there's some there that I really didn't like, and I didn't like the pre-evolutions of them either, quite honestly. There's some there that I did like the pre-evolutions, but I wasn't totally happy with the outcome of Blastoise himself. But there are some that I really do like, I really think turned out great. So stick around for those ones at the very least. And even the ones that I didn't like, maybe you guys like them, maybe I'm being too hard on myself, I don't know. But let's get into it. So we're starting off like we always do with normal type. So this is a water normal, usually just a more boring version of the original Pokemon in my drawings at least. Not always with normal Pokemon, but when I draw normal Pokemon, they just turn out to be more boring versions of the actual Pokemon. So this is a water normal Blastoise, got a bit tongue twisted there. And moving on to my favourite Teenage Mutant Ninja Squirtle. I had to do that when it came up to that, but when it came to the evolutions, I was getting more and more stuck. So I tried a few different things out here with this Blastoise, giving him a full face mask on this one. Still not sure if it works. Really liked Squirtle one, I really liked Wartortle, but Blastoise I'm not too sure about. I've also given him a bow, which is the name of the stick that he's holding. So, water flying. I really like the idea of the concept on this one, where the shell opened up and there was wings out underneath. I couldn't really get that to work on this one. I did sketch it out on paper a few times to try to get it to work, and I probably could have played with the positioning of his body a little bit, but I didn't. I was a bit lazy. So it's a little bit of a cutaway from the previous ones, but it is what it is. I've turned his water blasters into jetpacks, as you can see there. That's how he flies. I don't really know if he can open his shell up now, probably not. But moving on to water poison, which is always a good looking one, I think. So I've just sort of kept with the themes, keeping him with purple skin, bumpy skin to an extent, giving him some spikes on the back as well. And this is the water poison Blastoise. So water ground type. Wasn't overly happy with the Squirtle. The Wartortle got a fair bit better, but moving on to Blastoise, I tried to play with a few different ideas here. Ended up going for more of a kind of armadillo look, I guess, rather than a turtle. It still works. It's not one that I would say that I love, but it's not horrible. So this is water ground Blastoise. And Water Rock, really like the way Wartortle turned out for Water Rock. Water Rock Blastoise is cool as well. I don't think it's anything special, honestly. Maybe you guys like it, I don't know. I like the concept of the shell being a rock, but it's just following on from the last two concepts. So to me, it doesn't feel like anything special. But yeah, this is Water Rock Blastoise. I think he's cool, probably not my favourite, but still cool. So I actually did not hate the water bug Squirtle. Water bug Wartortle was getting a little bit worse, and water bug Blastoise is what it is. I don't love it. I don't expect you guys to love it. I was surprised that I even liked the water bug Squirtle. It just kind of went downhill from there, in my opinion, though. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm being too hard on myself again, like I usually am. But let's quickly move on to one that is consistently good, Water Ghost. Really like the Water Ghost Squirtle. Water Ghost Wartortle was even better. And now we've got Water Ghost Blastoids. So I've actually taken these blasters out completely. I didn't really think it fit the ghost typing. But the shell opening for the blasters is still there, having water coming out of it. Still looks really cool. And I mean, it is just following on from the last two, but that's kind of what evolutions do. So also giving him some cracks in his shell, because I really felt like it just needed that. But yeah, this is Water Ghost Blastoids. Now moving on to the Water Metal. Was never really a fan of these two. And Blastoise is no exception. Not a fan of the Water Steel Blastoids, or Water Metal. No, it is Water Steel Blastoids. Taken away from the armor theme to an extent, giving him more robotic features, but still nothing that I'm really in love with, unfortunately. Can't really go wrong with fire type. I love a good fire type. Water fire type is a bit of a messy one because they do kind of clash a little bit, but it just ends up with steam, which is really cool, or boiling water. I like to envision that his shell is full of boiling water, and when he shoots it out, it is scalding hot. Really like the way this one's come out. I've given him kind of a bit of a glowy effect in the seams of his shell. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. Is this one your favorite, or maybe another one? Let me know. And here we go with Water Grass. So this one was a big take. I tried a few different things out, but wasn't really happy with it, so ended up going the most painful route for myself and just covering its shell with flowers. So we've got Blastoids with sort of a grassy kind of punkish kind of hairdo, flower tucked behind its ear, and back just absolutely covered with flowers. It took me way too long, so this is the longest clip out of the set, but I hope somebody enjoys it. I kind of resent it a little bit just because it took me so long and it was so tedious drawing all those flowers, but looking at it objectively, I do think it's kind of a cool concept. Don't think you would ever see it in a game because it's just far too detailed, but it's a cool concept nonetheless, in my opinion anyway. Hopefully you guys like it too. Water Electric was never really my favourite combo. There are some good Water Electric Pokemon, so I know it can be done, but I feel like I just kind of, called this one in. Wasn't in love with it. I don't really love his yellow face, but I couldn't think of what else to do to really make it stand out. So this is what we've got, Water Electric Blastoise. Moving on to the Water Psychic type. Now I really like this little guy Squirtle, and the Blastoise took a bit of a different turn, but still really liked it. The Blastoise itself, it's not as good as Waddle. It's not as good as Squirtle, but it is still cool in its own right. I kind of struggled what to do with its tail, whether to just take it out and have him floating there, and then I thought that would look weird, so I've kept the tail there, just made him bigger, chunkier, and given him cannons, really. I don't know why a Psychic type needs cannons, but that's what it is. And now we've got the Water Ice type. I was just going to go bigger icebergs like I did with Wartortle, but giving him more than that. But I decided to refine it back a little bit. So its shell is a smooth piece of ice, almost like it's been smoothed out. The edges are a bit rough, but the shell itself is a nice, smooth, mirror-like surface. I think it's turned out pretty cool. Again, not my favorite, but moving on to Water Dragon. These are getting quicker and quicker, not getting time to talk about them much. But I don't have much to say about the Water Dragon. Kind of like the concept, like I have with the others. It's a little bit uglier than I really liked, but it's not as ugly as the Wartortle, so there is that. Added some spikes on its tail. Yeah, Water Dragon, enjoy. And I don't know why, but I always like turning Pokemon dark. So I really have a lot of fun with the dark type. With the Blastoise, I've just accentuated the features a little bit more, made the horns a little bit bigger, given him a bumpy back, and made the nozzles a bit narrower at the end, just because I was sick of drawing the same old nozzles every time. So I wanted a little bit different, for one at least. So there's no real reason for the dark type having the smaller nozzles, just that I felt like doing it. But this is the Dark Water Blastoise. So we're finally at Water Ferry, the last in the list. So just again accentuating the features that Wartortle had, giving him those nice big round ears. I've extended his jaw out a little bit as well, just to make him look a little bit goofy. Nice smooth shell, very bubbly features. It's always what I think of when I think Ferry, even though it's not always true. But yeah, there we have it. For those of you that have made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I'm going to give Pokemon a little bit of a rest. I'm going to do something a little bit different on my channel next. I don't know what it is, but I am kind of getting over Pokemon for a little bit. I will come back to it eventually, but not for a little while. I just want to take a bit of a break. For those that have made it this far, please consider liking and subscribing. It does help me out a lot. And thank you so much for watching.